Gonna get this started.
I don't even know what we're talking about today.
This is BrackCast 31, number 31. And today we're gonna talk about, can anything be made the subject of comedy? Basically, you know, can anything be funny? Let's see, let's turn this on. Get this podcast up. Hello. Yes, we've got more people here today.
It's gonna be short. It's easy. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Really? You don't think there's more
it's not
sensitivities to
too-
that?
It's an easy.
I don't know, man. I mean, is there like a time frame when you think it's, you know, when people like too soon? Like, what is that time frame?
Okay, tell Sharon what the subject's about.
What?
The subject is, can anything be made the subject of comedy? Can you basically joke about anything?
No,
Oh,
of course not.
but Mike's answer was yes.
Oh.
Ooh. Discuss. Why not?
There's time and place for everything. You can't make jokes about anything.
Yeah, you can make jokes about anything, but
No.
there is time and place.
Yes, there is.
There is time and
So
place.
so there is that.
So if you say it
threshold.
at a certain time, or like, then it's not funny. But you can make anything funny.
You. I guess so. It depends how. Yeah. I don't know.
I find like there's celebrity status who tend to get away with it, but some people don't. Like, it also depends on your profession or your platform. Dave Chappelle can get away with
Humor.
anything, but why? Why can Dave Chappelle get away with anything?
Because he's a professional.
That's true.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo,
Ooh,
wait,
nice
man.
mic.
Fancy.
Testing, testing. Wait.
What do you think, Deji? You're really faint, by the way. Shouldn't be.
I'm really faint.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Is this better?
Yes. That is better.
It's like the you guys remember in Men in Black? With, I may have made this comment already, but you guys remember in the original Men in Black, where like the alien is inside the man suit, and then the cops like what do you tell him to do? Put his hands on his head or something, and then he like stretches his face and he's like, "There, is that better?" Anyway.
Yeah, the cockroach guy, he pulls his face back. I remember that.
Yeah. Good movie. Will Smith, hey, young Will Smith. Fucking superstar. Anyway, carry on.
Well, you know the subject, right? For this week.
Yep.
So during the whole BLM, could anyone have made any racist jokes at that time? Or is Dave Chappelle, was he only able to because he was black?
Okay. So, first off, who's making the jokes?
Okay, so
Is
it
it
matters
like-
who it is, right?
I think there's a couple of things that matter. I think one, who's making the joke? two, how good is the joke?
The joke actually has to be like
I think
well
those are
thought
the
out.
I think those are the two criteria.
Well, it's a different subject then, right? Because you can do comedy about anything. That's what I'm trying to say. But the way you do it matters. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
if it's just
when you
in,
think about timing, when you think about, what exactly to say, that's part of, like, I don't know, the art of comedy. If people don't laugh, then it's not funny. It's not comedy. So you
so
can make a
it's
joke about anything.
it's not even about sensitivity. It's just um, it's like it's quality. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
how good you are
definitely
at
not
actually
about
making a
it's
joke.
yeah, it's definitely not about sensitivity because comedians try to push that line. That's what makes it funny sometimes. Like you don't want
Yeah.
like a lot of comedians, they say, the comedy, I don't know, whenever they have a show, that's their safe space. Like they could basically say anything, almost anything, and I mean if they say something and people get way too offended and it doesn't and people don't find it funny, then that's on the comedian, no? They made a bad joke.
Yeah.
So, but does a bad joke necessarily mean it was not even in poor taste, but like inappropriate? Like, why is a good joke, but a bad joke is inappropriate? Like, why can't it just be a bad joke? Like, it was just not well thought out. Why does it have to be offensive if it's bad?
I think on some level, like jokes in and of themselves are like kind of just generally inappropriate, So I think this all goes back to the like how good is the joke? Like everything you guys are talking about, I think factors into that number too. Because like, yeah, you talk about timing and all of that and quality, like that really kind of negates any sort of inappropriateness. Like if the quality of the joke is like superb, I think like the inappropriateness just becomes like irrelevant at that point, if that makes sense. Because like all jokes are like farting jokes are inappropriate, like jokes are just inappropriate, Like there's the the PG ones, but then like we're talking about like jokes.
So, does audience matter too then?
Uh,
Because, you just said all fart jokes are inappropriate. But, okay, does that mean if someone finds it inappropriate, can it still be funny?
Hell yeah, man.
yeah, I mean, that's like that's what I mean. It's
Like
like
if you think about some of the funniest jokes you've ever heard,
They were like,
they probably
whoa, like
they probably
stretching
offended.
boundaries. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't make everyone happy.
yeah,
I mean, obviously, what you're trying to do, at least what I find some comedians try to do, is that push that fine line of whether it's of what's appropriate. But you want more people, you want most of the people to laugh, right? I
mm-hmm.
guess that's what the goal is with it.
Yeah,
But
Well,
it's
like-
it's also their intention, right? Their intention is to make people laugh, not to offend people. So if we're talking about comedy, anything can be made a joke. But if enough people are, offended, then either it was a bad joke or it was just bad timing or something went wrong somewhere.
Well, okay, look at the different levels of comedy though. When you have like slapstick humor about, Kramer, Homer, just people getting hurt, people being things happening because you can recognize that the person is portraying someone dumb. And then you get Mitch Hedberg, which is like a one-liner type of guy, which is wittiness and play on words. I saw this other dude who just talks about the word, like the word fuck or the way shit, and he says how it means so many different things in the English language. You ever heard of that guy? He's got like a thick kind of like, I don't know, European accent, Norwegian accent or something like that. And he's really clever with all the different ways we use the F word. And it's funny because of the way he delivers it. It's very well done. The audience loves it. Again, no one's being offensive. And then you take it further where it's like, when you get to the parts where you start talking about political things or Yeah, like what? Okay, here's a joke. I'm gonna say a joke that I heard from someone, and I hope I deliver it good. Who knows? When I heard it from whoever delivered it, I didn't really find it that funny. But when I thought about the joke in context, it's a funny joke. Here's the joke. How does every racist joke start? Anybody? By the way, hi Paul.
Yo, what's up?
Yo, is that Paul?
Hey, long time. How you
Yo,
been, man?
shit, son. This guy's a fucking like legend.
Are you here right now, or you go back?
No, I'm back in Detroit.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
Yeah.
Yo, it's
wanna go
good to
back.
hear your voice, man.
Ah, thanks, man.
Shit, I
I'm
haven't
like in
seen you
bed.
since like 2010.
What?
Probably.
Jesus.
Yeah,
No way. That's
probably.
over a
Have you
decade.
guys not seen each other on the cast?
No.
Nah.
Did it
no.
cross? Oh man.
I didn't even know Deji was on the cast now. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, man.
He's a principal investor now.
Yeah, man.
I'm-
Yo, it's good to hear your voice, bro.
Ah, thanks, man. I'm waiting for the punchline. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Here we go. So I'm letting it sink in. So how does every racist joke start? Ready? All right. Look at my camera. Everyone, look at my camera. This is how it starts.
Okay.
That's funny.
I thought, right? It's a Is it a racism joke though? I don't even know, because there's nothing racist about it. But you know what I mean? And then you get to the point where they're like, "Why do black people drive like this?" You know, like, you know, the Homer Simpson. You know, he's watching some guy, and then white people drive like this. He's like, it's funny because it's true, right? Like, I think it's not even just the audience that matters, but the audience has to understand the context, and it has to, like, they have to accept it's a reality for them in order for it to be funny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it doesn't relate, it can't be funny, can it? Like, you're describing something that happens to you, and it's supposed to be funny because you deliver it so satirically that you're like, oh my god, that happens to me. That's hilarious because he's making it funny. But if it doesn't happen to you, you can't relate. You can't find it funny. So all these racist jokes. Well, okay, yeah, go ahead.
There's some things where like it's funny. It can be funny because it's what's commonly known. It's just something that's been passed around, like a stereotype, right? It's not like if I have never personally experienced something and then they make a joke about it, but I know people have talked about it, I guess maybe I could still find it funny. I don't know. Doesn't have to be like true, like a stereotype to be true. No?
Right. Okay. There's this. Man. I'm gonna pull up this guy. Crude humor comedian. I hope they have pictures. Like, have you ever heard? Like, this guy even had his own show where he would make this guy dark comedy. What's his name? Anthony Jeselnik. Have you heard of that guy?
Anthony Jeselnik? Yeah, that guy's pretty funny. I watched like one of his specials.
Yeah. And his subject matter, though, like, if you guys look him up, it's this guy. I'll put up the I'll pull this up. Oh, this guy. And we'll use this as the example. Podcast example. This is oh, that's not what's supposed to happen. We'll do this instead. And then I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Sorry about that. Okay. This guy. Anthony Jeselnik. Do you know who, guys?
Where's
No.
the thing?
rest of you guys.
Where'd you post it?
Oh no, it's on the
On the Twitch.
it's on the Twitch, but
Okay, I'm gonna-
you guys can't see it right now.
I'll do the Twitch.
I don't know why I can't get this to work better. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean,
Yo, this camera is crazy. I'm just looking at like your screen. I'm like, holy fam.
It's like, what is that, green screen? There's like a green screen flickering.
oh, on me. Oh, right. I got.
Oh
it.
yeah, I see
Yeah,
that.
that's gone. That's gone. Okay. I don't. I guess I can laugh at it, but like, apparently he had a show where an episode was taken down from air because of how offensive it was. Something with sharks. Anthony Jeselnik Shark Party. You guys ever heard of that?
No.
Nah.
I mean, I don't want to. It's probably terms of service. I can't show it. You guys can look at it on your own time. It's called
Okay.
Anthony Jeselnik Shark Party, and he had like these scantily clad women dressed up in shark suits, dancing like kind of like cabaret style, but it was about like some mass shooting at a school,
Oh, what?
something like that. Yeah, something like that. Right.
Okay.
And you know, the studio audience anyway, we're laughing a lot, but okay, I'm just gonna say this topic came up this week because I saw a post shared. Usually, you know, these subjects every week kind of get inspired by something on social media. Somebody shares something. So this person posted a story where it was like, hey guys, I'm sorry to let you know, but I tested positive. If you were with me in the last 48 hours.
Oh, Chris Boucher.
Chris Boucher?
Yeah, he posted that.
Is that from the Raptors?
Yeah, he's the one who posted that.
Can you finish the joke for me?
Oh, where he says like, if you were around me, sorry, I tested positive, or being hot as fuck, and you know all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's Chris
crazy.
Even
Boucher.
if delivered, I don't know how you can really. It depends, I guess, how you're reading it. It's obviously in story form, so you're just reading. You know, yeah. If you've been around me in the last 2 days, you should get tested too, because 100% I'm tested for 100% sexy or hot as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So the
funny.
punchline comes at the end in the last part of the story. You found it funny?
I thought
Yeah.
it was hilarious.
What's that?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
You thought it was funny
You know,
too?
like the universal symbol for comedy and tragedy is the two masks, right? Like the laughing face and the sad face and everything. Like
True.
in order to cope, I mean,
You laugh
especially
at misery? Is that it?
so like one of the things that we had like in my residency training for psychiatry was like med students that got upset at us because we were kind of talking about patients in a certain light.
Mm-hmm.
And then my boss, my attending, pulled the med students aside and was like, listen, this shit is so sad. If we can't laugh about it, like we're just faced with literally just the sadness. And how can we go to our work? Like, how can we do work? Like, if we have to face the harsh reality of how life is, so you're gonna have to lighten it up. And I mean, that's what like it was, like court jesters got to make fun of the king and stuff because life was miserable. Like you have to there's always some kind of like funny side of things that it's just kind of like looking at the opposite end of the things and like what's funny about the world just to like cope better with it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that sentiment, what you just said, and it makes sense. It's like, but even in that scenario, that means anything shouldn't be, Like we should just have that attitude about everything. Like just don't let it get to you. See the humor in everything.
Well, you could always find something not funny. That's fine. Like I don't like. It's just not my cup of tea of like whatever comedian. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I mean,
If you don't- yeah.
Fluffy is funny. Gabriel Iglesias is funny to some people. To me, I'm like, he's alright. Like I'm not
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
you know die laughing from it. You know, but like
impersonations of like accents coming from different races just for the sake of having the different, impersonations. That was funny to me in the beginning when I was younger, but like I guess the older I get and the more I've been exposed to it on a regular basis, it's not different anymore. It's normal. So could that be funny anymore? Like I'm not finding it as funny. But is that my problem? Is that a problem that is that my issue? Should I still be able to laugh at that and be like understand what it's for?
You're not obligated to do that. I keep thinking about this Patrice O'Neill. Patrice O'Neill was a comedian that was like genius, but he passed away from diabetes complications. He said he likened it to Evel Knievel. He's like, I'm like Evel Knievel. Like comedy's like Evel Knievel. You get paid for the attempt. You know, it's like good jokes and bad jokes. He said good jokes and bad jokes all come from the same place.
I remember hearing that, yeah.
You know? And it's like you get like paid for the attempt. So it's like, yeah. That's why a lot of comedians like they have to like work their jokes, right? Like they have to go into clubs.
Yeah, and like
yeah, they gotta like see what's working, see what's not. Cause like that joke that you hear that's fire, like the original version of it was probably horrible. You know? And they had to refine it and make it like really good.
Yeah.
So,
like frick, what's his name? The Mexican comedian who looks white. What's his name? The guy with the beard. Louis C.K. So Louis C.K.
he's
he
Mexican.
Oh, he's Mexican.
He's Mexican. He's actually Mexican. But anyway,
Isn't he like redheaded?
Yeah, he's like a ginger.
he's actually Mexican. But
Oh wow.
Louis
That's crazy.
C.K. He disappeared for a while because of his like the sex scandal where he would just like jerk off on people, and then
Yep.
he came back, like a random like comedy club in Long Island, New York or something, and he did like kind of right-wing comedy, and people were like upset at him and all this stuff and like what's going on with him, and then the comedy club defended him saying, and were like saying like, you know, why are you even posting his show when it's not even like, why are people recording his show when he's just working on new material? Like it's not gonna land. Like he's still trying to hone the craft and find the joke, you know. Like that's what, like if you guys ever watched the series Crashing on HBO, it's like it's about Pete Holmes. He's a comedian as well, like, but he's like a Christian comedian, but they talk about all sorts of struggles of stand-up, and like they really highlight like how it's really a craft, and it does
Yeah.
take some time for them to really like, the Evel Knievel thing, like, are you gonna land this joke, are you gonna land this thing, you know? So it's like finding like where the punchline is and how the delivery, and so, and you know, and not all jokes make it. Like you keep trying something out and you might find it funny, but it doesn't land. So, you know.
But as Deji said, it's for the attempt. It's still still part of comedy, right? Like that's part of the job. And you crude or not, offensive or not, according to whatever audience member is listening to it, because the intent was just to be comedic, it should be accepted. Does that follow on any platform, or is it only on professional comedians? Like, can any of us try to be funny? And we tried to be funny for the sake of comedy, but if we suck, hey, the intent was still trying to be funny, so it's okay. It's like,
No,
is that-
you can attempt, but you could still face the consequences of attempting. I mean, like, you know.
jokes are
Like,
either funny or not funny.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
if people like, I mean, if you offend someone, I mean, they're offended. Like, what can you do? You know, like, live with that consequence. You made the attempt. You know, Evil Knievel crash his motorcycle, he's gonna break a leg. You know what I mean? Like, it's still
Yeah.
gonna end up that way. Like, you could try and attempt, and even though the intention is whatever, just to be funny, like if it doesn't land, it doesn't land.
I think it also goes back to what you were saying earlier about the two masks of comedy. Because I remember when I was in grade
Theater,
school,
right?
yeah, like theater, like comedy. That's when I learned like a comedy actually isn't like something that's like funny. Like the classical term for comedy had more to do with like more of a satirical nature, you know?
Mhm.
So I think that also ties into into why like a joke is either funny or not funny, because the joke is already coming from like generally like a tragic kind of like, but like
Origin,
not
yeah.
like a kind of like a tragic place. So it's like if it doesn't hit, like people are gonna be like, okay,
Mhm.
you know.
So I
All right.
mean, the simple answer to the question is then yes. Anything can be made the subject of comedy.
I think so. It just
I
has to
think
be
so.
really good.
Yeah.
But even if it sucks, or are you saying the rule is the requirement that it has to be good?
What was there was somebody that made a joke right after Kobe passed.
About
I
Kobe?
don't remember.
I think his name is Ari Shafir.
That's
I don't remember what the
inappropriate.
joke was. It wasn't like the bad one. It was like the good joke.
Oh,
There was like a really good joke about Kobe, like when he passed. And hold on, let me see.
No, it was a.
There was that
you
one
remember
bad
it?
joke.
What was it?
Okay, no, that's not the. It's not a good joke.
Ari. All right, I'll look it up.
The
Ari.
one that, not the Ari Shafir.
No, not that
Kobe.
one.
Kobe tweet. Kobe Bryant joke. Was it a tweet? Let's see.
Yeah, it was like a tweet.
All right. Oh man.
Oh man, what
Should
the?
I? Oh
I'm
jeez.
just like,
Oh
should I-
jeez. I don't know.
Now
guys.
it's funny. Now that's
Well, it's
comedy.
because it's part of this context of this podcast. By the way, guys, if you're in this chat or if you're in the cast right now, could you tune into Twitch for me? That'd be great.
That's an example that
Just mute it.
of a joke that didn't land.
Oh, you read that one?
I didn't read
Terrible.
it, but I just saw it. It starts with Kobe Bryant died 23 years to, that one.
Man, I can't remember. Like, I can't remember it. But there was like a really good one. But you would think like the Ari Shafir one was like a horrible. I don't even know what the joke was, but like,
Was that even a joke? Was that like clearly sarcasm or what? Like no, that sounds like real hate. Isn't that real hate?
See, that's why people took it as real hate. It doesn't. I don't know. I mean, he's a comedian, so he went past that. That's an example of going past that line, and the joke just didn't land.
So you think he's joking? Because that could be social justice. That could be a social justice tweet too.
Could be, yeah. So that's. I mean, what comes across to us is the intent that he didn't like Kobe and he's shitting on his grave, right?
Right.
So that's.
But we know he's a comedian, so then we have to question if it was a joke.
Yeah, but well, if it was a joke, it didn't come across like that, right? It didn't come across as something funny.
Right.
Yeah. But what it came across as was something that was offensive. So, I mean, anything can be made a joke, but I mean, even intent is a big thing too. Like, are you trying to hurt somebody? Like, what's
Like,
your intent with the joke?
As you said,
Or
it's
what comes
stretching
across?
that line, right? It's like crossing that line. We know he's a comedian, and it's like, would we have to acknowledge his, like, do we know his political kind of platform? Do we know where he's coming from? Does he really feel this way? And if we know that he doesn't, then we could be like, whoa, dude, that was risque, but I get what you're doing. That's why it's kind of funny. We kind of giggled. I started reading it in quiet and I started smiling because I'm like, I can't say this on podcast, but like, if you didn't know who he was and it was just something you saw on social media, somebody posted it and shared it on Facebook, and you don't know who this guy is, you'd be like, well, I hate this guy. I let this guy burn. Keep
Yeah,
running,
I
you know,
think
like
I think it was something like Kobe passing. Yeah, right. Something like that.
Oh.
oh,
Something like that, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
that's like, you know?
But you hear the joke and the intent isn't. It doesn't come across as offensive.
Negative. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Kobe passing? Yeah, right. Yeah.
okay. Like, I'll use. I feel like Dave Chappelle has earned, because he's so worldly known as, one of the funniest guys, or if not the funniest guy in the world. So it's like he can say anything. What's up?
I'm just thinking about his Bill Cosby bit, yo. He rapes, but he saves. Like, that was nuts. That was crazy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
he
But it was
wild,
funny. But it
It
was like,
was-
holy shit, why am I laughing
Yeah.
at this?
Yeah. Well, he's a
feel
he's a
bad for-
genius. Like he's that good. Like
But it's because we know who he is. Again, like
Yeah.
we have to understand where he came from. Obviously, even who he is now, his delivery now, we still know who he was before. Like Def Jam when he was skinny, the crack guy, like that.
hmm
I can never get rid of that image. And
Hmm.
even with the contrast of how he looks now, we understand that his comedy has just kind of evolved from that.
hmm
And it's like anything he says can be accepted. So okay, that's a great example too, the Bill Cosby one. But I'm talking about the one where he's saying like he's in a comedy club, a small one. He's trying out new material about transgender or the LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Right? And he says this woman's like offended, gets up and leaves. And he's like, well, yeah, you don't have to stay if you don't find it funny. But then there was this other trans woman in the audience who was laughing the whole night. And it was like, that's what it was for. She's like, I know I think you're funny. She's laughing at all his jokes. And then he said something like, and we know it's sarcasm, but there's like, the way he tells it is like it's a true story. And like it actually happened and everything's factual. And then he threw in like this one little bit of like he getting a blowjob from this woman. I don't remember the context of it and how he delivered it, but he just kind of like, he just like squeezed it in there out of nowhere. You like out of a line, like, and
I think I remember that
back
part.
in the we went in the dressing room, and he's like, he mentioned that, and at that point we instantly knew, okay, well that's not true. Well, right? You would automatically just be like, oh well, that was sarcastic. But again, if you didn't know him, if you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he still got a lot of backlash for his stand up. I mean, regardless, but like, it's still comedy. He's speaking. His commentary of like, LGBTQ rights and everything, and he was just like, us black people, we haven't gone that far. Like as far as they that. He was trying to speaking towards his experience and his truth about it. That's
right.
what comedians do. It's like their interpretation of how society looks and everything, and that's like. Yeah, I think it's fair,
Okay, so so it's okay.
Yeah.
Even let's say if half the population don't like it and don't find it funny and are offended, as long as someone finds it funny. I don't know if there's a fraction to that.
I don't know either, because like then we get into the discussion of like we're in a really sensitive age right now.
Yeah, it's cancel culture right now. Like,
Yeah, like a lot of stuff that would have been playing on the air 10, 15 years ago, no way in hell are they playing today.
right.
Yeah.
Like the Chappelle show can air today. I don't think.
Well,
well, Chappelle show played in like late night, like Wednesdays, right? Like
it's like Mad
man, I
TV
can't believe I
type.
watched that. Like,
Was it
yeah.
Wednesdays?
Yeah, I watched it. I used to watch. I'm so old. I used to watch Chappelle show live.
Yeah, man.
I remember
Well,
the
no,
first
there's some
time seeing
movies.
Mad TV, I was like, wow, I thought they were
Yeah.
like pushing the border beyond.
Yeah, like Miss Swan is racist, right? Like, consider
Yeah.
that racist, right?
I mean, like, yeah, I was listening to Bobby Lee the other day. Like, people were saying how, like, Bobby Lee. People were initially saying how he set Asians back, and then now, like, all the Asian comedians are saying, like, "Yo, he didn't set us back. He got us on the map."
Yeah, he was one of the
You
first to like.
Yeah. So it's like, we don't decide. Like, it's so hard to decide. I mean, we live in a society where pretty much white people determine we're the gatekeepers for entertainment and
Right.
culture,
Yeah.
So like you have to like get in one way or another to get on the big screen. So like even if you have to go through like a problematic thing that catered to like them, So
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can't get away with Tropic Thunder anymore.
Oh my god.
I don't know why.
That was funny.
Because again, it's because we knew him. Like we knew Robert Downey Jr. was a world-known name, even though it was after his whole thing where he went to jail for some reason. I don't even know why.
Drugs.
Drugs,
drugs?
not
Okay.
racism.
Okay. Oh, it's just drug abuse. Okay, well that's fine. But then, yeah, I think that was a different time too, where it was like say no to drugs, right? No drugs were okay. I don't know what kind of drugs he did, but like, the whole openness about psychedelics now, where it is also the subject of comedy now, where people can,
I mean, I think comedy is a lot of lately, I know it's a sensitive time, but it's usually you punch upwards, you don't punch downwards in comedy. I think that's like the generally accepted thing now. Like you're allowed to punch upwards, not so much downwards.
What does that mean?
Like
class.
Like class,
class, right?
race,
Gender.
social,
I see.
you're allowed to comment on that, and you don't, yeah. So like that's generally for like TV sake, entertainment sake, that's the generally accepted thing. Like you just,
a white collar guy can't be joking about blue collar guy,
or yeah, or
but a blue collar guy can joke about a white collar guy.
like yeah,
Yeah.
like a white collar guy can't be like talking about like, a poor Mexican family,
How about those Mexicans, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It sounds way off, but like
Man, they're
it was
poor.
like- yeah, exactly. It's like they didn't belong, all that stuff.
Oh my
But like
God.
if you have like a
Can you
Mexican
imagine?
family, they can be allowed to talk about that guy in the office and that sort of thing. So, but honestly, I think there's a lot of comedy. Like, I don't think there's anything really off limits in comedy. It just really, yeah. Again, it just comes down to the people of how they receive it. I mean, comedy is just pretty much, yeah, like it's just the optimistic view of things, or even just like putting a spin on things. Like, I had a patient, so she like put a knife in front of her mom and was like, "Stab me already, just stab me," or whatever, And she was like, and that's why she came to the hospital. And I'm just like, huh. So why'd you do that? She's like, I want my mom to see how much she hurt me. And I was like, so if I was just watching you guys, would I think your mom's the crazy one, or would I think you're the crazy one? And she kind of laughed. Like, she actually laughed at that, because I was like, so do you think that's a good way of communicating, when you could have just said, "Mom, you're just making me upset and you're just not listening to me," versus putting a knife in front of her and saying, "Stab me, stab me." Like where are you going with that? And then the patient actually was like, "Yeah, that sounds kind of stupid," and she was kind of laughing with it, And like, it's, even though it's like a very heated and very sad and kind of difficult situation, it was just like, I mean,
Well,
looks kind of dumb.
You had that grace period, right? I think she had.
No, I was like,
that
for some
reali-
meter.
No, I meant for her, like from when it happened.
Yeah.
She had grace period to think about it afterwards when she's telling it to you. Yeah, you assessed it as a professional, but she found it funny now because she's accepted the fact that it was ridiculous. But at the time, it made sense.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean,
Yeah.
like that grace period, right? What's up, Kyle?
Yeah. So that's why it's like, it's hard for me to think that anything in comedy is off limits, because like people turn the most like tragic things into like, comedy, and like there's the commentary on like society and everything. And
But timing plays a factor.
oh
you know?
yeah,
It can't happen right after. Like,
this reminds me of the South Park episode where it's just like when they say it's like it's now funny. I think that they said that AIDS is now funny. Like the
What
timer
the
went
hell?
off. The timer went off, and I was like, oh, we could like laugh about AIDS now or something.
that's
It was like
true.
Wow.
It was
'Cause
a
for a
very
long time you could not joke about AIDS.
it was either
like
that
90s, like the 90s.
Oh my god.
For a
That's
time?
hilarious.
it was
When it's an like when it's like live,
You know
I don't know.
COVID's gonna be a subject of comedy in like a year or so. I mean, SARS was too. You know, people made jokes about like receiving mail and whatever, and like, you know, people would be like coughing in an envelope or something, and that was supposed to be funny. You could like, you remember this? Am I dating myself too with that? Do you guys remember that?
SARS envelope shit. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was like it's supposed to be funny. It's like, yo, and then it's close the envelope and you like put it in the mail, and that's supposed to be funny, but like you couldn't during the whatever the pandemic at the time.
Nah, man.
Can't make any COVID jokes now.
oh never
Well,
mind. It wasn't AIDS. It was 9/11. I think it was
9/11.
like, oh, now we can joke around about 9/11.
Oh, jeez.
Before, like, they couldn't joke around about it, and they're like, oh, it's funny now, and they started laughing because like there was like a random joke in the episode, and then they're like, everyone started laughing, and they were like kind of celebrating that they can joke about it now or something.
I mean, that's another show too, right? That's another show that pushes the
Yeah.
boundaries.
South Park?
Yeah.
Family Guy, South Park, all them joints.
Yeah.
I found American Dad was like even more than like Family Guy.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's called American Dad.
I'm just remembering that Ebola joke, Dave Chappelle Ebola joke. He's like, I saw an article that said Ebola was the new AIDS. I was like, what happened to the old AIDS? Something like that. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Yeah, man. Like, as long as it's, I think it's three things: who's telling the joke, how good is the joke, and who's hearing the joke.
Yeah.
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 The
That's
attempt
three
isn't
pillars.
so now.
Yeah, that
so
totally
now
makes
the
sense.
attempt isn't enough.
Well, the attempt factors into how good is the joke.
Yeah.
You know, that's an element of how good is the joke. You know,
Well-
the right person can still be telling it, but they just fuck it up.
Or what if it's a joke that someone else copied? So delivered one way, same joke though, and then the second guy just didn't deliver it as good.
So that goes into who's telling the joke.
Yeah, the factor, right?
Yeah,
I say it's all fair
Yeah.
game.
it's
Fuck
all
Yeah.
fair game.
freedom of comedy.
Freedom
Yeah,
of comedy.
yeah. You can
Oh,
make a
you're
joke
like
about
really
anything.
quiet.
I know.
Kyle. I'm gonna
Yeah, he is
turn
really
it up here.
quiet.
And like it
Am
goes
I
down to the
soft?
definition of what you consider as canceled. I mean, what is canceled? Because like, what, do you just don't get money deals or TV deals? Like they could still do comedy. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Like,
when Kevin Hart got canceled and he wasn't what he was supposed to host the Oscars or something, and then they pulled him off or something, or was it the Grammys? One of those.
I think it was the Oscars.
Because something he
Oscars,
tweeted.
yeah.
He's something he tweeted in the past.
homophobic stuff in the past.
Right.
Yeah, but like,
So
But it was a
I mean,
joke.
it didn't affect his career, did it? It just
No.
for that time he couldn't post the Oscars. I guess that kind of affects his career, but he's still as big as he is, you know.
Yeah,
I
pause.
think, a lot of comedians
Yeah.
have an issue with Kevin Hart apologizing for it, but
he didn't.
He did
Well,
actually.
kind of did.
He
Oh,
did
he
on
did?
every talk show. That's what.
Yeah, he
Chappelle
literally
said.
like did it like for
Oh
stars.
shit! I
He did
thought
a
I
whole
remember him saying
apology
like
tour.
usually he
His
didn't want to.
apology tour.
Yeah, Chappelle has a bit on Kevin.
On that,
Kevin
yeah.
Hart.
Oh yeah, because how Kevin Hart was like America's like
He went on every talk show.
Yeah.
saying that he wouldn't apologize.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think if you have a handful of people that get butthurt from a joke, that's too bad for them, and it's fine. Like they don't get the joke, they don't get that particular comedian, that bit. They don't see, you know, that's too bad for them. They shouldn't be given the power to cancel anybody.
I mean, what is cancel? Like I said, because it's like what they just don't get deals. Like
Yeah, like
I think yeah, I think it's
so
when like
if you have a show, or even if you're a stand-up, like a venue can cancel you.
Yeah.
They can be like, you know what? Because of all this uproar, we don't want to host your show anymore.
yeah.
Yeah,
and then
because
you miss out on millions.
because the not only the well, yeah, the venue or let's say the show doesn't want the bad publicity carried by the individual. So they cut that individual so that they salvage their reputation, and but that individual suffers that loss.
Like they should stand with the comedians though.
I mean, like, I don't know, because to me, it's like no one's muzzling these comedians, you know? Like, they're still free to say, like, if the venue chooses to do that, then it's like, you know, it's the venue. It's not really like,
Well, that's what the Oscars did.
yeah. And so, I don't know, like, that's why because comedy, like, people are like, oh, comedy's being muzzled. I'm like, you're allowed to still say whatever you want to say, you know? Like,
Well, for a while,
you can't use their own. I mean, there's certain media that won't allow it, but like you're still free to say whatever you want to say, you know? Like,
yeah, and I just think nowadays you're seeing the swing of the pendulum come back towards like that. You know, people are just coming back to comedy because they're just tired of all that other bull crap. Really, they just wanna go to a club and laugh. They don't wanna have a show interrupted by like one fan. So I think nowadays, like that one fan who's like a Karen or whatever is probably just gonna get kicked out. Because if you watch Andrew Schultz, like
Mhm.
oh yeah, no, he's
I
great.
was gonna
he'll
bring
just
him up.
shred all the Karens. He'll just sit there and just shred them, which is more funny. So it's all good.
I mean, there have always been hecklers.
Yeah, there's always been hecklers.
Well, it's
And,
not even
like-
heckling. Now it's like people getting offended. Hecklers weren't getting offended. They were just heckling to bring
Yeah.
down. They're trying to take down the power of the comedian.
I think there's always been people offended by comedy. Always.
Well, yes.
Yeah,
But now they have a big voice.
they have a
Yeah.
big voice and they can go and they can blog about it, and then like
Yep.
you know the whole media can blow up something so that the voice of a few can seem like a tidal wave, and then
Mhm.
that itself can be detrimental to a comedian's career.
Fucking
Okay, so
political correctness, yeah.
here we are, just always referring to a comedian though, a professional, but like talk about any individual who just wants to share something on their Twitter or their Facebook as an opinion that they find comedic or satirical or sarcastic. But obviously it's going to be, you know, it's likely it's politically charged in one side of the spectrum, and a lot of people aren't going to see, you know.
So if you have the guts and energy to post whatever you want to post, you should have the guts and energy to accept what other people are going to say about said post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. If you
Well,
feel like, oh, you're
That's
going to
what
get
I'm saying. I'm
canceled
not
or
trying to
whatever.
defend. I'm not
Yeah, I
trying to
know, I know.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
just saying.
Paul, you might get banned. Twitter, if
True.
you tweet,
Terms of
tweet
service.
something
You
that
could
think
get-
is funny, you
you
might
could-
get banned.
You could get fired from your job.
Yeah, you can lose your job. You can like it's so that's
Well,
why there's a
then, like,
hush
that's-
hush kind of vibe.
I mean, that's
'Cause
the
we're not
opinion you
comics,
wanted
we're
to
not
share that
comedians, right?
bad, then like go ahead. You know, I still don't think you're gonna be like, you know.
Get home, log on Twitter. You know who really grinds my gears? Oh shit.
Well, so Kyle, I mentioned earlier too, like Mitch Hedberg, right? Like the degree of comedy, or like the context of comedy where people intentionally try to be clean versus those who will full up be as dirty as they want to be and be as
Right,
like
right.
crude and whatever.
Yeah.
But all the full spectrum should be accepted as, well, it's comedy. It's okay, right? Freedom of comedy, as you said. It's even more powerful than freedom of speech, because freedom of comedy, you don't even have to tell what you believe in. You could just make it up as long as
You could just make shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's generally it. Like, people, if you say a racist joke, does not mean you're racist. Like,
Yeah,
most likely you're not racist. If you say a homophobic joke, most likely you're not a homophobe.
Right.
You just want people to laugh. So, like, you know, dirty comedy or bad comedy or dark comedy, it's all good. It's just the recent wave of, I don't know what to call them, snowflakes, I guess, is the term that's being used a lot. Easily offended, and it's almost like they look for a reason to be offended. So they go to the comedy show and they're just waiting to be offended, and they have their camera ready and they want some hits in their video, I don't know, and they just want to explode and be angry.
So you go to a comedy show, you watch a bit, you don't find it funny. You don't necessarily find it like personal attack offensive, but you're disgusted by it. Or you maybe even repulsed by something.
And that's allowed.
Yeah, that's allowed, right?
Yeah, it's totally cool. Just don't stop the show and
Well,
start
yeah.
screaming shit.
Well, yeah, that's the show, right? That person who find it repulsed writes a review, just said it wasn't funny.
I mean, they
It's
chose to be
repulsive.
angry that day. I mean, that's on them. Like, honestly, like,
Yeah, it's just
Well,
what
it's
you're
not
seeing-
canceling the comedy, right? But it's I'm trying to say though, like, that's also freedom of speech, though, that's just an opinion on someone who tried to be funny, who made the attempt, whereas maybe the majority of this audience found it funny, but this individual, probably a few others, didn't.
Oh,
It's
and
not
then
that
like
they're at
wrote
fault.
a review.
Well,
yeah, that's
they go
fine.
they go home and they're like, "Yo, went to this show today. It wasn't that funny. Honestly, there's some bits that I found pretty disgusting and repulsive, and I wouldn't recommend."
And that's all good. That's
Yeah, right.
perfect.
Like,
That's perfect. I have
Yeah.
an issue with the people that are offended and then stop the show
oh, like
and then make it about
yeah.
them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then
yeah.
go-
I mean, yeah, it's like anything. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't interrupt the art. Just be
Word.
just don't like
Yeah.
the joke in your little corner. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because so many big comedians have said something like along the lines of, if half the crowd is laughing and half the crowd is not, then you're doing your job. Like, you almost do not want everyone to laugh. You
Okay.
want to upset half the room. It's almost a goal.
What if you make one person laugh?
Well, one person, then, you know, that's when the comedian is thinking, I gotta tweak something about this joke. You know, because a joke doesn't just come out perfect. So
No, yeah. Like,
comedian
you
needs
have to work on it.
practice joke. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
when I was thinking about how Deji said, the way you deliver the joke, or what is the joke,
Mhm.
it could take months to develop a joke, and you
Yeah.
gotta get up there, and it's gonna suck, and especially if it's a charged topic, you're gonna get, you know, it might not be funny at all the first time.
It's risky.
You're gonna
yeah.
get
Yeah.
a bunch of boos, everyone's gonna boo, and then
Yeah.
you're just gonna be like, okay, I think there's something here though. There's something here. You gotta tweak it. Try
Mhm.
again. Try again. Try again.
Yeah.
And you get a couple Snickers, and then you get a couple laughs, and you keep tweaking it, and you end up with a Dave Chappelle joke.
That's why I wasn't like, you know, the Louis C.K. thing. Like, he was working on it. Like, it's kind of unfair to just judge it from an unfinished product. And
Oh,
You-
I know exactly.
You watched
what
it,
you're
right?
talking
Like his
about.
latest one, right? His latest
no,
special?
this was his like this is the one he got in trouble for like the alt-right type of comedy, kind of racist jokes towards Asians and stuff. But I was like,
Oh.
he was trying to work on this comedy craft. I was like, I wasn't offended.
I
by
heard
it.
that too. I heard that too. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
I think-
basically you film a guy who's what's it? He's revising. He's practicing these bits. He's tweaking.
And that's why it
them.
was like a small, out of the way comedy club.
That's right,
small-
and that's what you do. That's what you do. A true comedian will go and just hit the clubs, and they're developing a special. So let's say they're like, okay, this one topic in my special it covers maybe like these 5 jokes. I need to like that themselves, like that little bit, maybe 5 bits of their special would take weeks or months to develop itself, and they would just focus on those jokes in smaller clubs. So then it doesn't get an uproar. So you film it, and then you go and say like, oh, he's terrible.
Mhm.
I think too, like a lot of the general public doesn't know that like comedians have to work on their jokes. I think they just think that jokes come out funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I mean like the average comedy special watcher might not know that. Like maybe the average, if you go to a comedy club, you might know how that is because you're part of the culture.
Yeah.
But if you're just watching
You
specials on
should, if you
Netflix
could
and
look.
stuff, like, and then you read that in an article, it's like, oh, what?
Okay. I mean, we've established that a professional comedian, you know, even if they bomb, we're left here to understand that it's a process and they're trying to be funny, but if they bomb and they can't fix it, they'll drop the joke. It's not a joke. It's not going to work. The intent was there, but it wasn't funny. Let's say if you take something out of your bit, right? You work and you try to revise something enough, but it doesn't work. It's just whatever the context was, even if it was clean, but it wasn't funny, it wasn't funny. But now let's take on non-comedians. Just the guy who tries to be funny in the group. Or yeah.
I mean, if you ain't funny, you ain't funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you suck. You suck. If
But
you're
it's still in the name of comedy.
Yeah, but
So
I
you
mean,
can't
I could
cancel
say
the
that-
guy. You can't be like, yo, you're not funny. You know, you should stop. You know,
I mean,
like
that's like me playing ball, and I'd be like, "Yo, I'm gonna play in like the G League." You know what I mean? Like, or like, no, I suck. Like,
well,
it's-
you still want to play ball.
yeah.
You enjoy playing ball, so you'll play ball even if you're not that great.
So it's like me playing
this
ball, and I
guy-
go to like the YMCA, and I try and join the great runs, like the guys who are like 6 feet in dunking. That's like me trying to join them, and like, you know, it's like fuck. You know, you just kind of ruin it for everyone. If your
But at
comedy
this-
sucks in the friend group, then you just fucking ruining it for everyone.
No, but looking at this too, though, like all these guys, all these professional comedians started somewhere too. They started as that guy. They started as the guy who's always trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Some of them don't
Yeah.
make it, but doesn't mean that, you know, the process wasn't the same. What if they were
Yeah,
trying to? Okay,
But they tried it through, like, I mean, they got through the ridicule. I mean, if you suck at comedy and you got to get through the adversity of it. Like, if your friends don't find you funny, I'm sorry, your friends don't find you funny.
yo,
like-
no, I'm not trying to knock on the individual or the friends knocking on the individual. I'm just
Yeah.
saying the subject is it still comedy?
I will say this. Because it's a friend, let's say, saying like a rough joke, like a racist joke, let's say.
Yeah.
And
And then some guy's like, oh,
if
it's in bad taste.
If that person is not super clear that he or she is making a joke, it could be bad because you know you got to be really clear that you are delivering a joke.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, I like to add, I mean, like, if these are your friends that you're making this joke to, you should know your audience. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so if it clearly doesn't land, then you clearly just can't read the room of your friends, and they should understand your comedy. They should know what you find funny and they find funny, etc. You know?
My high school friends are of all races, and we would have the most ridiculous racist jokes ever. Because it's like, we can't really. We know that we're not racist
Right.
because we love each other. So it's like, you know, I'm like, I would make a joke making fun of Indian people, let's say. Generally, it would be of my own race. But even if, like, you know, I make fun of my Venezuelan friend, or we make a Latino joke. It's not like we're just doing it for
That's
jokes.
racist.
It's just friends joking around, just talking nonsense.
Like, Kyle, I know you weren't here earlier, but like, I mean, I make jokes about mentally ill people. Okay, I'm a terrible person, but like,
Like, no, you're not though, because
but I know. I'm just saying it as a joke, you know. But
right,
like,
yeah,
like that's like,
I'm just joking.
you know, I mean, I don't think there's comedy is just like a real. I don't think there's any limit to it because like that's the way I'm able to cope through all the sad shit. You
that's
know
what I
what I
was
mean?
just
Like,
gonna say. That's
yeah.
exactly what I was just gonna say. So,
yeah,
so
exactly.
it makes
So
sense to me. It's like an outlet. It's
yeah,
It's
Mhm.
like the comedian with MS. Like he was on AGT. He was like, his whole spiel is the shit he has to deal with and making fun of himself. And it's hilarious. And it's just, you know, it comes from this real place because he has MS. it's awesome. And so it'd be so odd to see if someone got upset on behalf of MS people or people with MS because this comedian is saying MS jokes about MS. Like it would be very strange. But
Okay. So
Well,
comedy.
It would
go
be
ahead.
if the jokes were bad.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but he should still
As
be
you
able
said
to
just
say
now,
it. He
like
should still be
it
able
was
to try.
hilarious.
Yeah. Like if it was terrible and everyone was just like sitting there blinking, he would know that his jokes were bad. But I don't knock him for trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now
all
now
good.
it's sounding like, you know, comedy doesn't rest on the comedian. It rests on who's receiving it, on the audience. If you are in the audience and you find it funny, therefore the joke was comedy. But if you're in the audience and you don't find it funny, and let's say you even go to the further step of finding it offensive, then that joke wasn't for you, and therefore you should disregard it. Like it's not even meant to be heard by you, like the target audience. Let's say like you don't know your audience, even if it's delivery or not. If you didn't find it funny, it wasn't for you, and therefore no one should be offended by comedy.
I think
That-
for me, well, I don't know. I think Deji hit it really well earlier, saying, you know, it's on the comedian, the joke, and the audience.
All three
So-
have to be together for it to be comedy. Otherwise, if you don't meet all those three, what is it then?
Shitty joke.
Yeah.
Just a shitty
Not
joke.
comedy. Not comedy.
It just doesn't come. It just
No, but
doesn't-
again, no,
it's
Mike.
bad.
But what I'm saying is, if half, like Deji said it too, half and half, or I think maybe it was Kyle. It was like you're doing your job, half and half, right?
Yeah.
But half don't. They don't find it funny, but it's still
Yeah.
comedy, right?
Yeah.
So you're not meeting the three criteria of at least half of that audience, but it's still
Yeah.
comedy.
I mean,
so,
I don't
yeah.
agree with that 3 criteria thing. I definitely don't.
okay. So
Yeah,
as
it's
long as
not
the
like-
intent is comedy, that is the criteria.
Yeah, those were to me. Those were just like easily identifiable, like three easily identifiable metrics we could use to like judge comedy. But I'm sure like there's something I'm not thinking of, things I'm not thinking of too.
Well, I think
It's,
that
it's all
Deji
nuanced, right?
describes-
Like the
yeah.
whole comedy thing is nuance.
He's describing an ideal situation. You know,
Yeah.
the Kevin Hart in the stadium. Everyone paid hundreds of dollars to see him. They're gonna love his jokes, and he's just killing it. Everyone loves his jokes. His delivery is perfect because he's practiced it like hundreds of times, and it equates to this amazing experience. But comedy as well is those hole in the wall clubs where the grinders are out there just trying to make a living on stage, and they're just tweaking their stuff too. And if you can't go to that and appreciate it, then you shouldn't be going to comedy clubs.
Yeah. Watch Crashing on HBO. It really highlights this like really well. Like the struggle, the grind, just to even get 5 minutes on a stage.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I
And-
only know a little bit because I listen to Rogan. Like I used to listen to him before Spotify, like religiously, and he would often have his comedian friends, and they would talk about where they started and how you start off as a doorman.
Yeah.
like
You're handing
begging.
out tickets to
Yeah.
try and sell on the street. They highlight that in the show really well. So
Yeah, and then if you make it up to an opener, if you have a 5 minutes here, 5 minutes at the end, and usually if the worst spot is like the spot right, like an opener, like right ahead of the killer.
Mhm.
Like you're supposed to be the warm up, and like that's the hardest spot.
Yeah. Just to plug the show, because every stand-up comedian, like all the big names are all on it. So Sarah Silverman will be in it. What's his name? Like Tracy Morgan, friggin' I mean, Pete Holmes is a comedian in his own right. Like what's that guy? The kid from Brooklyn. Anyway, I forgot his name. But there's just a ton of comedians are on it, and they all talk about it. And they all talk about the different niches of comedy, the struggles of how to get there. There's like Christian comedy, the university circuit, alt comedy, and what is a sellout comedian? Is it really selling out? Like they touch on like all the different like
I would
parts of
definitely
it.
watch that.
It's
called
really fun to
Crashing?
watch.
Crash.
I mean, Crashing on HBO.
Crashing.
HBO no.
Crave TV. I don't know. Just pirate it, man.
Yeah. I'll get it somehow.
But would you say that the consensus here is though like anything attempted to be funny comedy, no one should be offended?
Well,
What?
no, you can
No.
be offended.
Don't be offended.
You can definitely be offended.
But it's okay. Okay.
But you shouldn't. A comedian should never be like censored. in
Yeah.
any way.
Right. No, okay. So you can be offended.
Be offended all you want.
Be offended all you want. And that's part of comedy. Is that still part of comedy though?
Yeah.
I think so.
Comedy's been based on that for a long time. I mean, jesters.
Well,
man.
I thought the purpose was to get a laugh, and you're gonna get that with the people who don't find it offensive, or who aren't offended by it. But those who are offended, it's not for them. It's not comedy for them, or is it still comedy if you're offended?
Well, if you're one of those who gets offended, then that's okay. But you can't say that it's not comedy. In their mind, it's probably bad comedy. Like they'll probably
Yeah,
go
it's
home
not
and be
for
like,
them,
"That
right?
set was terrible." Ugh.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's comedy.
Okay, so it's even still comedy as long
I
as
mean,
somebody
just-
finds it funny.
If we're talking about the definition of comedy, is that what we're doing?
I'm just the subject is can anything be made the subject
of
of
comedy?
comedy? And
Yeah.
overwhelming answer is yes.
Yeah.
But just because people are offended doesn't mean it's not comedy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, but if everyone's offended and no one finds it funny except the comedian, is it still comedy?
To me, that's
What's your definition of comedy?
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
not
me
funny,
in
then
the
I don't think
area,
it's
like,
comedy.
It's a shit joke.
it's a shit. Yeah,
It's a
like,
shit
if you're-
joke.
If you're tweaking the joke
Yeah.
and it's at the beginning, and you just get no response, but you still think there's something there, that's part of the craft. That
Yeah.
you have to. And then a lot of jokes don't make it.
Yeah.
A lot of jokes don't make it. You say, you know what? I give up on this one. I just can't work it. So you scratch that joke.
Mhm.
But all that is part of comedy. Like
Okay, there it is. So it's the process.
to me, like yeah, comedy itself is a very interesting art form.
Like it really
And-
does. I think it falls on the intent. From someone mentioned it, I think it was Deji, was like, if the intent is for it to be received as comedy, even if it isn't, it's still part of comedy. As you said, it's part of the process of trying to tweak it out to be funny or whatever. And that's cool. And it kind of excuses everything. Like, obviously, yeah. So cancel culture, let's say, to bring it further, over the people who aren't just offended, but they then want to I guess, remove someone from whatever they do because of. So cancel culture and comedy can't be in the same plane, like can't be in the same realm, right?
Generally, no.
To be honest, I just don't believe cancel culture. I mean,
Cancel
like
culture exists.
cancel
at all.
culture, like yeah, because just create. It's a free market. You could create your own medium to try and sell whatever. If the corporation chooses not to support you, well, sorry, that's your decision. You know, like you said whatever you want to say. Like if you lose your job, I mean, it's what it's a
Well-
free market. It's a free speech thing, and if it's part of the free speech is, you know, you're not free of consequence. So I don't really believe cancel culture is a thing because like people who are supposed to be canceled haven't been canceled. Like, you know, like so many people who should be canceled or canceled, quote unquote, like were
Well-
deemed cancelable.
Well, a lot of them lost a lot of money.
I mean,
But-
look at
but that's
Trump.
the free market. You don't have to give them money.
Would
the
you
people
not
that wanna
say
get the
that
money-
technically Trump was canceled as the president?
Come down to
No,
the
he
US.
committed
Trust me, He's
crimes.
not canceled, bro.
What?
He's not canceled in the US.
He's still the
not
president,
canceled.
don't you know?
Like
He is
he's definitely not making quite headlines with his tweets anymore. You know.
He's definitely not canceled. You know what I mean? Like, you could go to other media. Like, it's the free market and free speech. If you really truly believe in free speech and the free market, then you gotta just understand that whatever you say will have consequences. Whatever your actions do, and
Yeah.
if the market deems that you're not going to make them money, they're free to drop you too.
Yeah.
And,
That's
you
why I don't
wouldn't- and
really
you
feel
wouldn't
like-
call that's not. So yeah, cancel culture is just some hot word right now. Like
Yeah, it's just a hot word right now. Just
Yeah,
get
like
riled up.
because it doesn't even have to be comedy. Like
Yeah,
it could
it doesn't have
be
to be
like
comedy.
yeah, no, it doesn't have to be comedy. Like
it's like it could be
Oh,
a
Chris Brown was
English
supposed to be
professor.
canceled for forever, you know, but I still listen to Chris Brown. Everyone was like, you know, like
that's the thing, man.
He
I
lay
still
low
like
on
his
that.
music and his, but I feel bad for it.
Mhm.
you know
I
what
feel
mean?
bad
Like,
for liking him because of what he did.
but because he's
Like, I
still
hate
selling
Chris Brown.
shows and he's still marketable. Like it's the free market.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like if you're that good, I mean,
I agree with Paul, but like I said earlier, like I do think it's on the other pendulum swing now with cancel culture. I think it's on its way. I think it's on its way out. I think the discussion would be a bit different a few years back when everyone was getting canceled. Like all the shows were getting cut and all the comedians were scared to say anything because they're losing tens of millions of dollars. And they're just like, okay, well, can I not say this joke anymore? Man, like they're you know, as Seinfeld would say when he was talking about Chappelle, dodging laser beams. You know, they say like he was saying what makes Chappelle the best is that he's able to dodge laser beams and he dodges them all and he just kills and he still kills.
Mhm.
It's like what all comedians want to be able to do. Yeah, he should make a skit about it.
Psych.
Ah, gotcha, bitch. I was gonna say, speaking of cancel culture, I really like, for some reason, I really fuck with the Chick-fil-A brand.
oh fuck with Chick-fil-A, bro. I fucks with Chick-fil-A.
And the funny thing is, I've never had a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Chick-fil-A
What?
sucks.
I've never had a Chick-fil-A sandwich, but like,
it in with the fire.
Yo, I'll bring it from Detroit, bro. I'll bring you some Chick-fil-A. They have
Yo,
Chick-fil-A
we
in
have
Toronto
Chick-fil-A
now,
here.
right?
We have Chick-fil-A.
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Downtown,
yeah. I'll get one, but like,
No, you gotta
I-
get the Southern Christian prayed over Chick-fil-A. That's what you gotta get.
Prayed
shit.
over.
The prayed over
Bless.
Southern Christian. They baptized that.
Prayed
meat.
over?
That's
They
it, you know?
baptized the chicken.
That's what you need.
oh shit, I need to try that.
I would
But yeah, like I really fuck with them because like, even though the homosexual community, like, they have their certain policies against them, I would love to take a poll of how many people from the LGBTQ eat at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
Because it's like,
they
yo,
admit to
their
it.
shit is so good. It's just like,
That's what I'm saying, man. Free market.
It's
Like,
like-
you can't be canceled if your product and everything is that good. That's why, like Dave Chappelle, his product is so good.
I've had it. I don't even think it's that good.
It's not.
Yeah, I've never
Oh
had it, but I
man,
just like.
I didn't like it. Well,
had it in-
granted,
It's
I
the
had it
same-
at a wedding, so it was delivered. So maybe the time from the restaurant to the
Yeah.
wedding.
I'll take
But-
this heat and I'll just say this: In-N-Out Burger is such shit. Like I hate
I agree.
that burger.
I agree.
Wow.
I like
I agree.
water.
I
never
still
had
have to
that.
try it. I still have to.
You
try
know
I
it.
liked it.
You know why it's called In-N-Out? Because you go in, you come out, and that's it. You don't take anything. That's why it's called
I
In-N-Out.
tried
Whataburger
In-N-Out
sucks,
once.
too.
It was very greasy. That was
so
my
bad. Their fries taste like
was-
plastic, and it's
Brent
like
says agreed. Shake Shack is the best.
Shake Shack's the
Whoa.
best. I
Shake
agree,
Shack
man.
is good.
Man, I like it
yeah.
all.
Okay.
Whataburger. I've had Whataburger for Texas.
Whataburger sucks.
In and out. I
I like
liked it. Shake
We're all
Shack's
divided
good.
in this fast food.
They're all good, man. They're burgers. What?
What's
Yeah,
that
personal
one?
preference.
What's that one burger place where they have like the mini burgers?
White Castle.
Oh,
White
White
Castle.
Castle.
Yeah, I had that once, and I've
What?
never forgotten it.
White Castle smacks, bro. Like, oh
I've
shit.
never forgotten that shit.
Really?
Yo, that the onion. Oh, fucking
yeah.
dope.
I only had it once, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I've
I've
never
never had
forgotten
White
that
I
shit.
have to try all of these.
I'll bring a
Second
travel
A&W
box
Buddy
next time
Burger,
I'm
but
back.
Smaller.
So-
Damn, I want some White
I'll
Castle.
bring a travel box. Like you could buy like 30 of them and just like.
Oh shit!
I guess I do
Yeah.
have a reason to go to the States in the next year. Just try all these fast
A
food.
bunch of burgers.
Because I don't want to go
Because
to
you know,
the States.
me and
Well, you gotta
Paul
go
are
to,
not
like-
there. Just
Yeah, you gotta go to like the West
That's
Coast.
not
or
reason
something.
enough.
burger.
That's not reason enough to break COVID.
That's fucked up.
Yeah,
I
man,
want a
it's crazy
burger.
over there.
You can come here instead.
This guy won't go for friends. He'll go for White Castle.
No, the majority of us are here. You can come here.
No, I want to go to Seattle, bro. I want to go to Seattle.
Anytime. Just let me
Yeah.
know.
Is your backdrop Seattle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah,
Nice.
Space Needle. Check it out.
That's
The DayDay we-
that's a fake CN Tower right here.
Hmm.
Is CN Tower taller?
Half the height.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Same
CN
thing.
Tower's
CN Tower's tall as hell.
CN
Yeah.
Tower's taller. It's not tall as hell anymore.
You win.
It's like I don't even think it's the top 10 anymore in the world of structures.
The CN Tower? Oh, really? Eh?
I don't think so anymore.
Still
What?
hella
Let's
tall.
look that up.
So good.
What's the top one? The Burj?
The top 5 are probably all in Dubai, man.
In
'cause they keep fighting against each
Probably.
other for the stupid tallest
All right,
building
let's see.
award.
Top
Okay.
10.
The Burj,
tallest-
Shanghai Tower.
Yep, CN's not.
It's in
there.
Malaysia.
Oh, it's not Dubai? I'm shocked.
Burj Khalifa's in Dubai. Shanghai
Oh,
Tower
what number is
is
that?
number 2. Burj Khalifa is number
Mecca.
Oh, okay. So I was right then.
1. Shanghai
Oh.
Tower is number 2. Number 3
Abraj
is
Al Bait
Makkah
Clock
Royal
Tower.
Clock Tower in Mecca.
Damn,
Oh,
it's
wait,
not
yeah,
even
you're
the
right.
top 100 of tallest buildings.
The CN Tower?
CN Tower.
Wow.
Wow.
It
Are
was
you
at
serious?
once. It was number
lot of
1 in the
China.
world at once, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
At one
yeah,
point in
like
the-
when they
yeah.
built it. Yeah.
Yo, that means
Wow.
they built all of these shits in like the last 2 decades.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what the heck? South Korea Lotte Tower is number 5.
What
I
the
didn't know this.
fuck?
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
damn, we were up there.
We were there. It didn't feel that high.
Damn. Oh, it was finished a year before we went there?
Yes.
What? I had no idea.
just-
I'm like,
Oh,
it's
I
just
know
a
why
building.
it didn't feel that high because we couldn't see anything under because of the
Where does
smog.
the
Oh,
New
that's why.
York one fall now?
Doesn't count if there's
The
Oh.
One World Trade Center?
Yeah, One
is
World
number
Trade
6.
Center.
That's number 6.
That's
Six.
Wow,
impressive.
this is crazy that a lot of these were built in the last decade, yo. Like a lot of them.
2000s.
Mhm.
2010, 2015, 2017, 2018. What the fuck?
And most
Well, it
is
makes sense
Asia,
because it's a race.
China,
Everyone
Wow.
just wants to be tall.
Taiwan, China. More
A lot of China
Vietnamese.
now, yeah.
China
China's
will
number
probably
8,
beat the Dubai
7,
one.
4, and 2.
Holy fam.
They're
Yo,
taking
we're not even in the
over.
top 100. Yo, we're trash.
Yeah,
What
but how
the
many
fuck?
of those light up how cool CN Tower does?
No, all
Oh,
of
they-
them laid up
Dude,
now, man.
all of them, dude.
Yeah,
All
bro,
of
all
them
of them
light
light up, man.
Damn it.
Every like tall building now lights
It's
up.
sick,
They all have
man.
It's
LEDs.
default now.
Oh, this makes
Yeah.
no sense. Okay, CN
Gotta
Tower,
be RGB.
RGB is default.
RGB is
CN
default
Tower
now.
is CN Tower is 553 meters high, but then some of these don't. It doesn't show up here. It should be
What?
up there. No,
Some of.
500? That's nothing, dude.
what are you talking about? Lotte
Okay,
World is
so
554.
Are you looking at building or tower?
What?
I said, oh, I googled tallest completed buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
towers.
towers are
Oh,
different.
meters. Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
some of these names are like Lotte World Tower.
Oh, in the
largest-
building list?
Is
Tallest
the tower not a building?
towers in the
Yeah,
world.
No,
Or
because a
height.
building apparently needs like a certain number of floors that's like actual real estate, you know?
Oh,
Whereas
CN Tower,
CN Tower has a
17.
bunch of it, it's just an
Wow.
elevator.
Oh.
So, 1975, on the morning of March 31st, that the CN Tower officially became the world's tallest freestanding structure.
Whoop, whoop.
1935.
Tallest
75.
freestanding
Sorry,
structure.
1975.
75.
Tallest
Oh, okay.
freestanding structure. There you go. Let's do that one. Where's the
Wow.
CN Tower?
Yeah,
CN Tower is
CN
9.
's
Okay, top 10.
553.
Top 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're in
what?
Top 10.
Top
Yeah.
10 free.
Well, all right then. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
we're in the top 10.
See,
I was like,
No, I was like, what
Right
to say?
behind-
Like, what's
Tower
happening?
is really
What?
tall. you know?
Behind.
because I googled building, so I guess it doesn't count as a
Y'all top in
building.
the real
It does,
estate market.
yeah,
though.
CN Tower doesn't
Okay.
count as a building. What?
Okay, so
It has to be
okay.
a freestanding structure. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Freestanding structure. Okay,
What is
we
it? What is
are
freestanding?
number 6. Number 6.
Well, hell yeah,
I'm
man.
seeing number
Okay.
3 here.
I see
List of tallest towers. I'm seeing number
number-
3.
number 9.
Then we Google
CN Tower.
freestanding.
Nah.
So freestanding includes
Everyone's seeing
buildings.
something different.
I
Well,
see
'cause the
Paris,
point
here
London,
is
Tokyo, Shanghai,
Burj Khalifa is
Abu
number
Dhabi.
1 in all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to
Which
see
list
that
is
building. I want to go
right?
up that one.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
Oh,
that would be
Tokyo
cool.
Skytree's number 2. I didn't know that.
Sky 3.
Do you think you can get altitude sickness from going up the Burj Khalifa?
Probably.
How do you get altitude
Unless
sickness?
it's
Oh no, it's
maybe
oxygen,
pressure,
right?
Maybe it's pressurized. You know.
How do you get altitude sickness?
Maybe it has to do with air pressure.
That-
yeah, maybe.
That's the one where you see the clouds like under there, right?
Whoa.
Probably.
altitude
Oh,
sickness
shit.
when you can't get enough oxygen from the air at high altitudes. Okay, but when you're inside a building, they can just
They
pump air up
probably
there.
pump. Yeah.
oxygen.
They probably pump oxygen.
So you can't open the window because it's hot.
All the air would just leave.
Oh shit!
It's
Can
just
you
a
imagine?
vacuum. It just
You sucks you out of the
Fire it
gets
out.
sucked out of the building.
If you're at the penthouse, you can't have a balcony.
No, you can't.
Oh, let's
that's
Google
funny.
that. Can you open
Oh, it says here number
a
9.
window in the Burj?
553.
How tall can a building with how tall can you build a building with windows that open? Opening windows. Hold on.
That's a good
Opening
question.
windows is not about air pressure. Opening windows is not about air pressure, but about liability, safety, and cost. First, they worry about liability, meaning people falling out or jumping out, which is why most buildings, even second floors, don't have opening window. Next is cost. Open windows were fine when entire buildings weren't air conditioned constantly. I've worked at older buildings that had windows up to the 11th floor and worked buildings that had windows on the 27th, where the CEO's office was who can make all the calls on whether the cost of the HVAC was worth it. Okay,
Jeez.
Oh.
so I guess those are little factors that go into that too. It's not just wind pressure.
But for like all these super tall buildings, my guess is there's
I've
no
never
window
heard
for
of
you
this
to open.
Tokyo Sky.
Yeah. Oh,
If they wanted to change,
Okay.
like, let some fresh air
So-
in, they'll have some ventilation system.
So it looks like, yeah, like they can open, like they can have windows up that high, but it's because of the liability and the air conditioning.
Yeah,
Because this guy is writing, wind pressure is unlikely to be the deciding factors. Some combination of safety and HVAC are likely to be the case for office towers.
Yo, I'm pretty sure I saw, like on Fast and Furious, like they jumped out of Burj Khalifa, didn't they?
Yeah, bro.
No, that
they
was
didn't
real,
just-
yo.
They didn't just jump. They broke from one building and then landed in another building.
In a car.
Yeah. And they had to do
And
that
car was
multiple
like
takes.
the third fastest car in the world or something. Like legit. Yeah.
That was, yo, like, I remember watching the scene where, which one was it? The one with the tank on the highway?
9?
And Vin Diesel was on the hood of his car and jumped across a bridge, caught his girl and landed on the other car, and I'm just like,
Flex.
They
You
went a
watch
long
Fast
way
9
from
yet,
stealing DVD
Mitch?
players, man.
You watch F9 yet? Yeah.
Did you watch F9?
No, I haven't watched that yet.
That's
My
I wanna
kind of like
watch
a
it.
joke.
My
I'm
favorite
just
Fast and
like-
Furious moment was the airplane one with where the runway's like a million.
Forever.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love it.
And how did they get away with that? They just
So
made the
good.
background dark. You couldn't see anything, so you don't have to know
Yeah.
how long that
Like
was.
eventually, everyone's asking the same question. Like,
Yeah.
man, how long is this runway? Because the scene is like 15 minutes long, and they're going like super fast down a runway. Oh, it's so funny. I love
I
it. I
enjoy
love
it.
it all.
I love those
Give me all,
movies.
give me all the cheesiness.
Yeah.
I'm
Shut up.
like,
It's
you
comedy.
guys. I'm like,
not
you guys
offended.
like worked in a garage. Where did you get all these secret agent skills? Like,
Dude,
when
they
did they
can
start
fight-
shooting
can
guns? Like,
fight.
Ludacris became
Yeah,
a big
man.
hacker and everything, and
Yo, yeah, Ludacris went from working on Under the Hood to like taking down secret agents.
And the government goes to ask them for help.
They're the only ones.
I know
Well,
a guy.
no. Well, there was familial ties. That's why. But there's always some sort
familia. It's all
Familia.
familiar, man. It's all about familia.
really, yeah.
Amelia.
of familia.
And Corona baby. That's all you need.
Corona. All right, DayDay, did you want to say anything? Did you want to know what our consensus first before you say something?
Yeah, sure. What's the consensus?
That yes, anything could be
Oh.
made the subject of comedy, as long as the intent was for it to be funny, and somebody found it funny.
And it was a high quality funny.
Oh, it has to be high quality funny.
Well, no, sorry, not like the funny is the high qualityness of it.
So, because you and I don't find something funny, we can even be offended by it, but it can still be comedy as long as other people found it funny,
Mm-hmm.
or as
Wait,
long
wait,
as
wait.
the attempt.
We
was for
can't
it
be
to
offended by it because we don't
No, we
find
can.
it funny.
We can be
Oh.
offended.
Okay.
That's the extent of it. It doesn't. But it doesn't mean it wasn't comedy. It's still
I
still a
see.
joke.
Like it doesn't make it like not comedy. You mean?
Yeah, just because something's not funny doesn't mean it's not comedy.
Let me see if I can find this video for
To
you
us.
guys.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean,
I find this video hilarious.
So if it's like super offensive, but then as long as somebody finds it funny, it's funny.
It's comedy.
Is that-
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Question. I gotta challenge that. A bully in school picks on some kid, and a bunch of kids laugh. He's trying to be funny because he's a bully. Bullies do that. But technically, that's comedy. But it's also right.
It's a
I
good one.
mean,
It's still comedy.
no,
man.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
no,
good or
it's not
bad. You're
comedy,
just
like,
throwing a
yeah.
moral.
So
Yo,
if the
FJ,
bully,
I'm gonna send you this video.
Hurtful
Sorry, go ahead.
comedy, Ren says.
oh no, I was just wondering. I was just gonna add if the bully like locks somebody in a locker, and people laugh, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny to the bully, maybe.
It's comedy.
Yeah.
that's
It's
not
comedy?
to me. Fuck that.
Apparently. Oh, it's not comedy.
Who
to-
said?
to
Who said?
whoever-
Who said? Yeah. Who said? Yeah.
I do. It's still funny to somebody.
Where'd,
It's still
where'd you send
comedy.
the link, Deji?
In the
BrackCast chat?
cast, yeah.
Like if I
So,
see
like,
someone
start
who's
from,
funny,
like,
I find it funny, you know?
45,
Okay.
second 45. Hey, I don't know
I
if you want to
couldn't-
share your
I
screen.
couldn't hear Paul.
Yeah, I'll share this.
Sorry
Wow.
about that. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was pretty much saying if I see two people fighting in a bar or it might be a bad situation, but I might find it funny. I'd be like, oh yeah, shit, look, like
Mm,
Like, to
shitty
me,
situation.
to me,
That's so funny.
comedy is an art, and not just something you laugh at. So like, you could laugh at stuff, but that doesn't mean it's comedy. It just happens to be like you find that funny. If you see a bully bullying someone and you laugh, well, that's you finding that funny, which is strange to me. But that's not comedy. There's no, there's no art in that. Like that's just.
But there's
not-
comedians who
But the intent
talk
was
on certain subjects. You know what I mean? Isn't that the same at times?
as someone bullying someone, or two people fighting, or somebody tripping and falling on their face, or somebody who's
Oh,
unfortunately
so you're
has
talking
something
about
wrong
comedy
with
as just
them,
the
and
art form versus like
yeah, if you
laughter.
yeah, if you're talking to me about comedy, yes.
Okay. Oh, that's fair.
Laughter
That's
is
fair.
laughter. You can laugh at anything. But
Yeah,
that
that's
doesn't,
what I mean.
comedy to me is an art.
Okay, the art form of comedy. Okay, that's fair.
But if the attempt was to be, so trying to be funny doesn't necessarily mean trying to be comedic.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a bully and you're beating up somebody to get a laugh out of somebody, that's just, to me, that's just a crime. That's not comedy. How is that comedy?
Well,
So
it met the 3 criteria.
Well, I mean, according to your
I
definition,
never
it
agreed to
depends
this
what you think.
criteria thing, by the way.
That's okay. I'm just saying.
Well, it depends how you define
well,
comedy.
No, well, you said there was consensus, so I was gonna say no, there wasn't. Because
Okay, then there is no
I
consensus.
seem
Yes.
to be on my own, but I'm just sharing with y'all what I believe.
I will probably back you on that one too. I wouldn't consider that comedy, even though some people might find it funny. I wouldn't even. Well, is it still funny?
Ren mentions physical humor is different. Yes, you can have slapstick comedy. It is a subgenre of comedy where you use your body and you may get hurt a little bit. You're not hurting other people. You are often getting hurt to get laughs out of people. That is slapstick.
But
And I
then
like
you get pranks too, where it is at the
Pranks are
suffering
not
of
comedy.
others. I don't like them. It's not, well, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it is, but it is, a lot of credit channels or whatever will advertise it. Well, maybe they don't classify themselves as comedy. Maybe I'm being too specific.
Brent
about
says
the
physical
word.
humor is different.
Shoyden, Shad.
What's
Yeah, I
physical
Freud.
humor?
I just talked about that.
Fucking
Dave.
The
yeah.
slapstick stuff, yeah, like getting hurt.
Oh.
Homer getting bashed
Like
over.
Jackass?
That Jackass is one too, yeah.
Yeah, Jackass.
Kramer's physical comedy too, like all about
Those fucking
Charlie
those
Chaplin.
fucking Asian
Island.
shows.
Charlie
Yeah.
Chaplin's the
Yeah,
biggest
like
one.
MXC and stuff. Yeah.
Holy shit, that show was hilarious.
M-
Just with their
M-
fucking elements.
MXC, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yo, before you do that, play this video real quick, but start from like second 45. I think this
Start
shit
at
is
45?
hilarious.
At 45?
Yeah, start from like second 45, yeah. This is basically, to give you some context, this is how eagles hunt, right? Like they fly to top of hills and grab goats and then just fly and let the goats drop from.
Yeah.
Yo, the first time I saw this shit, I
Crazy.
burst out laughing. And then I sent it to everyone and they were like, "Yo, this is horrible. Why are you laughing?"
It's offensive.
crazy.
Really? What is it? Let me see.
All right,
Reddit
it's-
/nature is metal.
I did share it. It's streaming right now, and
I'll watch
ready.
it on stream. Yeah. Go.
okay. But the fact that he
Thanks
looked
for
like
watching.
petrified, like the petrified fall here, like.
Oh shit.
Nature is metal.
Oh,
I just love
How did the
All
goat
right.
get up there in the first place?
It's a mountain.
Oh,
mountain
son.
goats, they're
and
they're
it's a
really
baby
good.
too. That's rough.
Yo, check this out. Wow.
They
That's a
do
baby
do
goat?
That too. They do
Bro.
that to adults too, man.
Damn.
Those. Is it the harpy eagle? No, but those eagles are.
Yeah, these guys are crazy.
You guys see these?
No.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
This is crazy.
The ibex.
Why are
Ibex,
these
yeah.
death-defying goats flying
Nice.
out? What the heck?
Son, yo, this shit is crazy.
Look at that.
Ibex is a cool name too.
Why are they doing that? Oh,
That's
mineral
excellent.
salt.
Yeah, they do it for the salt, which is weird.
Yo, they're evolved for this though. Like it's so
What?
sick.
See the babies do it. too.
That's nuts.
That's
yeah.
so dangerous. Why?
It's a good
can't
hold.
They
It's a
just,
good hold.
can't they just give them salt? Like, why do they gotta do this?
Man, climbers
Look
should
how
like,
high that freaking. Oh my
make
god.
shoes
Just
out of
chilling.
those of ibex toes.
How did
hooves.
they come down? Do they just.
They climb down.
Climb
What if they
down.
gotta
Yo,
go to
it's so
bathroom?
impressive. Yo, they scale those shits so fast.
Fantastic. I love it. I love nature.
That's scary.
In like about 3 seconds. There
So
it is.
dangerous.
Wow, that's
That dude
crazy.
Just
so
cruise down.
fast.
I guess going downhill must be a bit easier.
I believe it.
Oh man, I just
Wow, amazing.
imagine the person trying to do the same thing.
Amazing. Yo, so I want to ask you guys, who's the funniest person you know in real life?
Funny or strange? Because if we're talking
Funniest.
about strange, I
Like
would pick
comedy funny.
I
Just
guess
like a person that
person
like
that
could
makes you laugh. the
make you
most.
laugh the most.
Warren. Oh.
Lately,
that's
it's been
hard.
you, but I would.
Yeah,
if
probably
if
you.
I'm tallying
guess.
laughs though in my lifetime, it's probably Kyle.
Oh yeah, Kyle's up there for sure.
Drunk Kyle.
Nice.
Yes,
Drunk Kyle.
Way
yes, drunk
funnier
Kyle.
than sober
Drunk
Kyle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shit.
Thanks, man.
But witty, yeah. By learning who you are more and finding out your timing and your natural wit, you're moving up.
Thanks, man.
You're moving up the ladder.
Moving up the
So
list.
if you end up not making it as a recording artist, you could be a comedian.
Yeah,
should do
comedy
that
and
one.
music is actually like those two worlds are kind of like this.
I'd believe it. We should go to open mic night for comedy. just,
Oh shit.
just get up there and embarrass ourselves. Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Like it's
comedy
actually
is
really cool if you go to like Chicago or New York and you actually go to like their improv or open mic nights and stuff. You're likely to see some really big comedian stars, and it's fun, man. Like Chicago,
I've
New
been-
York.
I've been to one where I saw a very wide range of talent in terms of comedy, where they did end with the strongest guy. I guess he had more like experience. But even when I say strongest, it was nowhere near a level that you would see on TV, but he had more laughs. It was always about, and it was interesting to hear them at the end talk to each other. Like, yo, you killed the crowd. Like, you definitely had the crowd. He's like, yo, I was
Yeah.
struggling. And
It's a
it's all about
community,
like
yeah.
who got more of the laughs. It was yeah, it was all great of just who got more laughs and natural.
Yeah.
And,
Like every
Second
comedian-
city in Toronto is a great place for improv.
Yeah, should we
Second
go?
City?
We
I
should
feel
go
like-
watch. That'd be a cool thing to do. I'm definitely game. I
yeah.
always wanted to.
Yo,
I used to
Not
watch
necessarily improv, but I would go to a comedy club.
Yeah, it's always good. Like I guess Montreal is known for it too.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they had Just for Laughs. That was a huge thing
That's what it
back
was.
in the day.
Just for laughs.
Whose line is it anyway?
just for laugh gags.
Yo, if you like Who's Line, watch Taskmaster on YouTube. It's
Huh?
like a British like Who's Line type of deal, but like they're given these tasks that they have to do, and it's pure comedy. They're all comedians, like UK comedians.
Oh man, and British humor is good.
Did you hear about that guy who like they have the show where they pop up random words and they have to make a joke on the spot? And
Oh what?
What was that?
Oh, that's crazy.
That sounds cool. It's like the comedy equivalent of freestyle and
Yeah,
like rapping.
freestyle
Rapping is like,
comedy.
give me a word.
And this guy.
Yo, give me a word. Yo, give me another word.
Hold on, I'll tell you who the guy was that did really well.
Yeah, actually, it's hard. I mean, like
T.J. Miller. You guys know T.J. Miller?
he's the guy from
Does he
Is
do
he the-
impressions?
T.J.
Yeah.
Miller.
in that show. Yeah, he's in that show. Freaking the IT one, or the guy's trying to make it in Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley. Yeah.
Okay, I'll share this.
Oh, wow.
It's not.
T.J. Miller.
Well, I'll share this. This is where he
Yo, that was creepy, Diddy.
100% improvised.
Oh shit,
you-
you heard that? Sorry.
Apparently, he was supposed to be canceled too. By the way,
No. Like when
Oh, this guy.
What happened to that guy? Hold on.
When
he
you,
apparently like
hold on.
sexually assaulted so and
Oh,
so or whatever. I don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff. There you go.
there.
Innocent until proven.
sorry, yeah, Diddy, when you like dipped your head down, your seat like materialized behind you, and it looked like a hooded figure just appeared behind you. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck?
That's the
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's creepy.
guilty.
I was like, what the hell?
Okay.
Who's that? Yep.
Wait, what? What? No, what's going on?
I'm streaming something. You can watch it on the stream too, but timing would be a little off. TJ Miller's 100% improvised set from Setlist.
Okay. Is this not TOS?
No, I don't think so. We're reacting to it. I'll stop it from time to time.
Okay.
Asking a comedian to improvise an entire stand-up set is like asking
What's
a
TOS? You
magician
can't
to
just
do
like play
actual
it.
magic.
You gotta like talk over it and shit.
Nobody
I'll
has any
have to
idea
pause
what's
it
on their
every
set list, right?
30 seconds.
No.
Oh, guilt for
Edible.
Rocky.
That's correct. You get the topics one at a time. Audience sees them same time you
That was
do.
funny.
The Bacon Channel. What the fuck?
As long as you're hilarious, nothing can go wrong.
You believe I'm actually doing this?
I want to go.
Oh
Interesting.
yeah, that guy's in
Right
TASCAM.
now.
If I don't get a punchline out of this,
Yeah, that guy's in
you'd think
TASCAM.
it would be easy, wouldn't you?
A lot of people say they can do it, but
So you guys are ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to pause it there.
This is like parachute jumping, where you can't remember if you're actually wearing a parachute. It's quite a stunning thing they do. And watch the journey. It's all about the journey, not the destination.
I flew here from Denver, Colorado, where I was playing another club and asked for the night off so that I could just come to London for 30 hours to do the show, because that's how much I love doing the show.
This is for real. They have no safety nets. They're not going to do their own material. You're seeing people really taking a fucking leap here.
Comedy without a net. Let's do it.
Have a good one, lovely.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Is he going to be brilliant?
Brilliant. Oh, yeah.
He felt like he was good. He felt confident.
It's in the round, kind of. I didn't know that it was in the round.
So these people don't know him yet.
Maybe Mike. They watch
He just felt like he's one of those slick American comics. Obviously, I'm hoping he dies on his own. Not really.
Will you please welcome the brand new, never before seen set list of TJ Miller?
So hopefully it goes well and the jet lag doesn't affect my performance.
let's begin.
Oh,
You know-
wow.
So many of any story involving pulling out is sexual. Have you noticed that? You know, very rarely anybody tells you about a story about how they were pulling out of a parking place and they pulled out just at the right time, that nobody got hit and there was no insurance issues. Have you noticed that? And I wish people would tell more of those stories. And I have a story that, I was greeting someone. I went in for the handshake, right? Have you ever shaken someone's hand and it just goes on a little too long? You're about 7 or 8 pumps in. You pumped hard in the beginning because you like the person. Then after a while, you've run out of a little bit of steam, so you're just pumping as much as you need to get the job done. And so as I was shaking his hand, I kind of took that moment and I started to pull out. He tightened up a little bit. Not a lot. Because it's hard. It's hard to tighten up. A lot of people say they can do it, but at this point, we've been shaking 35, 45 seconds. Oh, I count the pumps. Come on, guys, you do too. And then I tried another time. Slowly kind of pulling out. This time he squeezed a little bit harder. That's when I do something that I want to share with you right now. You take your hand, you go straight into a fish.
That was well done.
Oh, man.
Nice.
Everybody always speculates. What would you do? What would you do if you had a time machine? Most people would go, they'd kill Hitler, they'd sort of try and change the course of humanity for better. But I'm afraid of that moment when I get in my time machine, I press the button, I take myself back to 1940 on the cusp of World War II. And I find Adolf Hitler. I walk up to him you know. Say, hey, how you doing? I don't know a lot about history. And I certainly don't know what the word cusp means. It's on the outside of corn, right? I don't know what it is. I know what it is. Your little teeny tiny mustache. And I shake his hand, hold it for a little too long. I choke and kill him. But I always fear that the manufacturer of the time machine will come back and say, hey, big problem. So the flux capacitor that we thought was sort of working in your unit wasn't, and you never actually went back in time. You just killed a guy with a smaller mustache.
Just goes around.
Sometimes in life, you don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. But I'd say about the 15th time that you fall out of a window and you're okay, you're either a superhero or you have the only case of this syndrome that's ever happened. And there's a quick way to test whether or not you're a superhero or you just have safe falling out of window syndrome, or as we all call it, SFOT, the rest of it. And that is, just go to a roof, no windows, jump off the roof. If you survive, you're a superhero. It's your duty to try and protect the rest of humanity. And if you die, then you had safe falling out of the window syndrome. And it's a shame you didn't have the other diagnosis. Pretty much okay after going off of a roof syndrome.
That's tough. Who the fuck put this on here? Answers! Now! I come all the way out here from America, star of Yogi Bear 3D, She's Out of My League, How to Train Your Dragon, Get Him to the Greek, Our Idiot Brother, which did not do well overseas.
Alright. I was like, alright for that last